Am I sure one?
Then it's Christmas. It does not feel like
I
Christmas.
feel like it, I know.
It's the weirdest Christmas ever.
As is for everything else, 2020, it's different than we're accustomed to, and so many of us are going to be alone or with just a minimal amount of family. So if that's you, we want you to know that we're with you in spirit.
We are. We're thinking about you.
Yeah. And we thought, we don't very often do OP songs.
Other people.
Other people's
I
songs.
like it. OP. But this one is PC. It's a PCOP song.
It is PC, and it's also PD, public domain.
Uh-huh. That's important too. And it's also a Christmas song, so
Yeah.
it's for you from us.
And we'd like to sing it to you, and if you want to sing along with us, please feel free.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin
What a lovely morning, isn't it? I'm so glad to see each and every one of you and how this sanctuary is filling up. So grateful for you. 5 days before Christmas. Woohoo! Am I ready? No. But anyway, that's kind of typical every time, this time of the year. What I know that I am joyful because of each and every one of you. I'm so grateful that you're here. So welcome, Facebook family, YouTube family, to our Sunday service celebration this morning. There's so much I want to share with you, and I will probably share a whole lot of that with our message this morning. So Unity of Citrus, for those of you that are visiting us for the first time, Unity of Citrus is a positive path for spiritual living. And it is a place where we call home. Everyone is loved and accepted in this journey. No matter what spiritual path you are following, we embrace you, we love you, and we'll walk alongside of you as you grow. So thank you for being with us this morning. Thank you. So let's take a moment now and just get ready, get our hearts ready. What child is this? Gently close your eyes. What child is this? Divine love incarnate, right here with us always. The Christ child, born unto us. And so we celebrate this awareness. God with us, Prince of Peace, divine love, joy, faith, always and forever. The expression of God in us. And so we celebrate that this morning. We celebrate the opportunity to be together. We celebrate life and all the goodness that surrounds us. And so as we center ourselves this morning to have open hearts and open minds, to know that when we leave this place, we will not be as we were when we first came. For there is something amazing for each and every one of us, that we are here by divine appointment. And as we remain in that attitude of openness and receptivity, present in this now moment, because there's nothing more important right now. We can leave behind everything. Right now, all that really is most important is this present moment, where we know that we know that we know that where we are, God is, and all is well. And so we celebrate that. We celebrate each other, for the light of God is within each and every one of us. The Christ, the child born unto us. And so with great love and great gratitude, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is. So would you say with me this morning's affirmation of oneness? There is one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God the good, all-powerful, all-knowing, everywhere present, right here, right now, God. Namaste.
God, help me to empty my mind of every earthly distraction, so that I may only worship you. God, help me to empty my heart of every false separation, so that I may only worship you. You are my mind, you are my heart, you are my life's only reason. So I let go of all the false gods that I've known. It's you I believe in. God, help me to empty my life of every human illusion, so that I may only worship you. You are my mind, you are my heart, you are my life's only reason. Let me let go of all the false gods that I've known. It's you I believe in. God, help me to fill up my soul with ever deeper devotion, so that I may only worship you, so that I may only worship you.
I was in another world, excuse me. It's that time now for our meditation. I invite you to sit comfortably. Allow your minds to focus on your breathing. You may close your eyes or leave them open, whatever is comfortable for you. Imagine yourself standing in a field on the outskirts of a little town called Bethlehem, a place of divine energy. It is quiet and peaceful. The stars in the sky are starting to fade, and the sun begins to show its face brilliant above the horizon. You hear the sounds of the town awakening with life. As you stand looking around, you find yourself asking, what has brought me here, to this place? It's very unexpected. A strange place in your mind. But deep inside, you know the reason. You know the answer. It is all the turmoil that has caught you up in its grasp. It is the hope and the fears you have been carrying around as you journeyed through this year. The feeling of aloneness, the feeling of missing family, of having to find other sources and ways to connect. But deep inside, you know there is an answer. There is help available. And you know there is nowhere else you want to be. Christmas is coming. The anticipation is very different. because everything is different right now. You still have within yourself the memories of seasons past, with its aroma of goodies, the laughter and the joy of sharing time together with family and friends, watching children play with new toys, or a new pet, a pet even for ourselves. But you are still here in this place of divine energy. Standing in the middle of the field, you begin to feel a presence, something you haven't felt in a long time. You feel your heart opening. You feel love and joy filling it. It radiates out through your whole body. You know from deep within, the Christ child is about to be born again within yourself, not just in a manger. See yourself holding him. As you do, peace fills you. You know you are being blessed. So take a moment and hold that child. Feel its presence in your arms. With the blessing comes an invitation, inviting you to listen. You are being asked to listen with all your heart, with all your soul, to listen with ears that hear, eyes that see. What do you feel? What do you see? And what are you hearing? Listen. Listen. Listen with an open heart that receives all that it needs in this place and time. In the next few days of waiting and preparing, take the time to nurture the growth of peace. Cultivate faith, cultivate love, and cultivate joy. For this is a time of healing, a time of renewal, a time to let go of the fears, the hurts, and the grievances you have been carrying this year and your life. Let them all go, for this is the time of joyful anticipation, not sadness. It is the time to welcome the child the Christ presence within you, and to welcome that Christ presence with glad tidings of joy and love, and to remember that you are that child, and that child is within you, and that presence is always within you. Namaste.
So, this morning, we have yet to light the candles. And I'm going to spend some time, if I can do this correctly. The first candle that we lit for Advent was the candle for hope. And then we lit the candle for love and peace. And today we light the candle for joy, knowing that these are the attributes of the Christ within us as we light up this Christ candle. So joy. Today we will be talking about joy. And boy, have I had to activate joy, especially this morning, because everything that was going on this morning was, ooh-wee. I even forgot my glasses. And I told Joe, oh no, I called him up and I said, quick, bring me my glasses. And they weren't the right ones. But thank God for good friends, right? Because I get to wear Mary's glasses this morning. There's always a solution for everything. So we light this last Advent candle called the candle representing the joy that lives within our hearts always. The joy of knowing that the Christ is with us. And so joy is that is something that we experience as a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. Don't you just love it when joy bubbles up within you? I got so many moments that I was contemplating as I was writing this message, moments in my life where it's almost spontaneous. It just bubbles up within you. And so we wonder, where does it come from? And what can I do to experience more of that joy of the Lord that is our strength? So this past week, for the very first time, you're not going to believe this, but for the very first time, I watched a Christmas classic called It's a Wonderful Life. How many of you have seen it? Isn't that a great movie? I can't believe in all the years that I've been on this planet that I have not watched that movie. James Stewart starts in that movie as the main character, George Bailey. And George Bailey lives in a small town, and from a very young age, he has big dreams. He wants to go to college. He wants to travel the world. He wants to do great things. And over again, he sacrifices his dreams for someone else that he loves. And so we see him doing this to all the people in his town, with his family. He's just giving away that dream, or at least putting it on hold in his mind. He says, I'm just putting it on hold. And there's a man in that town. His name is Potter. Yes, and Potter is heartless. He's a very rich man, but he is cold and heartless, and all he thinks about is the material things. And his only aim is to be able to own that whole town, own everything that is in it. He wants to make it his own. And the only thing that's preventing him from doing that is George. George is doing everything that he can to keep the small business and loan company that he inherited from his father alive. And so, Potter doesn't like George very much. He's always trying to find ways to outsmart him. So on Christmas Eve, what happens is that George's uncle goes to the bank to deposit $8,000 into the bank account, very much needed. And in the process, somehow he misplaces the money. And he has to come back and he has to tell George, that it's been lost. And so George goes into this deep, deep despair. What am I going to do now? Because he realizes that evening the bank examiners will come and they will discover that money is missing. And he's going to be held responsible and he's going to go to jail. And the thing that he has so very hard worked for, the company, will probably be lost. And rich old, mean old, cold-hearted Porter, he's going to have an opportunity to finally own everything in that town. Nothing will be in his way. And so George begins to think about his wife and his children and the people of the town that he loves. And he begins to feel that they would probably be better off without him. And so he begins to plot how to commit suicide. He goes over to a bridge. He's planning to jump over this icy waters. But there were people that loved him dearly. And they were praying for him. And there was this divine intervention. And so from the heavens, Clarence shows up. Good old good-natured Clarence. He is an angel. And he's there to help George realize how good life really is. And so he allows George to experience what life would be like without him, if he were not born, if he had never been on this planet. And George begins to realize that his life is good. There's so much good around him. And he doesn't want to die after he's witnessed all that is around him. You see, if he had died, he would never have married the love of his life, or had the children that he loves so very much, or help the people in his town keep their homes. And so he runs back into that bridge area where he was going to die, and he calls out to Clarence, and he says, "Help me, Clarence, help me, please, please, I want to live again. I want to live again." Because he discovered that there was so much good in his life that he had not realized. And so he's granted this wish. He comes back and he's alive. And he runs ecstatically all over town looking at all the familiar places. And he's greeting each and every one of these places with exuberant joy. And when he comes into his house and he sees his family, he's just full of abundant joy. Now, George's situation had not changed, remember. That money is still missing. It had not changed. The bank officials were already in his home, ready to arrest him. But guess what? They were stunned by George's joy. They were just like stunned. How can this man be happy in the midst of, what's going on in his life? He's going to go to jail. And when the town heard, and so in between now, the town has heard about George's plight, what's going on. And they pulled together all the money that they had or they could come up with. And guess what? They raised more than enough money. And they came and they gave it to George, and George was able to save his small business and loan company. He was so grateful. Grateful to be alive, grateful to be with his family, with his children, with the town that he loved, grateful to have saved the company, just grateful for life and all the good that was around him. His whole perspective changed, and gratitude became a gateway to his joy. When he began to realize all the good that was really happening in his life, then gratitude made a way for joy to bubble up in him. Now, we can't always control what's happening out in the world, right? We can't. But we sure can. It's up to us to control what happens within us. We have that power to make that shift, to change our perspective, to become aware of goodness and the love that fills our lives. We've had a tough year. We really have. And yet we have seen the goodness of life. We're still here. The goodness of life. So God's goodness is always present, always. We just need to open our eyes and our heart, and then we can see it. And practicing gratitude will help us to get to that place of joy. It is one of the easiest ways to experience the fullness of life. And when we experience that fullness of life with great gratitude, we live in joy. A joy that assures us that wherever we are, God is. And I don't care what is going on out there. God is. I live and breathe and have my being in God. And therefore, it's all well. It's all well. The psalmist says that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Everything on this planet is transient. It does not last forever. Whenever we face difficult circumstances in our lives, the loss of a loved one, the loss of our health, the loss of a job, the loss of our relationships, whatever it may be, we do grieve. And that is normal and good, to acknowledge the sadness that we are feeling, to be able to go through that process. Allow ourselves to be there. And as we're there, remember that joy is not gone. It's waiting for you to reconnect once again. Over time, the pain and the heartache will begin to soften. And we'll be able to have an opportunity once again to see that there is so much goodness all around us. We can see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And then when we can, once again, we will experience gladness and joy. So you see, joy is not the absence of suffering. We think that we can not have joy because there is suffering. But it's not. You can have it even in the midst of it. It is not based on any outward experience out here. It is unlimited, and it comes, nothing out, you can't get it out there, because it's something that is from within. It's within you. It is the gift of the Spirit, just like faith and love and peace are. They're the gift that keeps on giving and never runs out. It is everlasting, because the source of your joy, my joy, is God. God is the source. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, defined joy this way. He said, joy is the happiness of God expressed through humankind. And so we experience this joy as a bubbling feeling within us that fills our heart with gladness, because we are open. We're open and receptive to God's love that is expressed through the seen and even the unseen. And when the eyes of our heart are open, we can see it. You know, in a world where we are experiencing separation and suffering and mess and misery, I can only think of mess, because I think it's just like one big giant mess. It's such a great knowing that joy is still within us, that we can tap into it, right, Gloria? That we can walk through it. And the more gratitude we have, the more joy we have. Because there is goodness in this life. Saturday was Joe's birthday. And so on Friday I went and got him his baby birthday present. It's this cute little Mia. Yes, we named her Mia. Mia means in Spanish, she belongs to me. You know, Mia. And our hearts are I just so love her. I can't tell you how much I'm in love with her. She's a feral cat, so we're going to have to be really patient with her and tender and loving, and which is absolutely great. She's so shy and she's so frightened. But isn't she a cutie pie? She's just absolutely adorable. And so on Friday night, Joe and I stayed up, oh my God, we stayed up to the wee hours of the night, reading up about, okay, how can we care for her? How can we help her not be scared? What can we do? I learned that if I blink my eyes and I lower my head, I'm less threatening. So yesterday I spent the whole day talking to her and singing to her and bowing my head and closing my eyes. I said, oh my God, I must look like a nut. But I was so overjoyed with her, just taking care of her, feeding her, changing her litter box, but she was still very shy. She doesn't let me touch her. But guess what? This morning, I was able to get my fingers through the rungs of the cage, and she let me pet her. Just a little bit, not a lot. She still kind of went away for a while. But I got to tell you, she has opened such joy in our home. You know, Joe and I like new parents now. I was late coming to church. I forgot my glasses. I mean, everything, you know. But anyway, and I was saying, what a wonderful addition to have someone to love unconditionally, to give of yourself, unconditionally. You know, that unconditional giving of love is another pathway to joy. That's another pathway. When you can love something and someone as much as I am loving this little girl, that's a pathway to joy. Gratitude, unconditional love, those are the pathways to joy. When you do this, then you realize that your challenging circumstances, whatever they may be, pale in comparison to the good that's in your life. When you can look at your life and recognize the good, when you can love unconditionally, that joy bubbles up, and no matter what is going out there, it pales in comparison. See, because gratitude and unconditional love takes you into conversation with your heart. And what it does is supercharges the moment with joy. We all face difficulties in life. And if we focus on that alone, if we just focus on what's not going right, the pressures of life will blind us to the good that is before us. It will take away, rob us of our joy. And before you know it, you know how we spend our days? We spend our days complaining and talking about our problems and discouraged and even filled with discontent. But as a child of God, created in the image and likeness of God, we're not intended to experience this life this way. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not here to endure life. We're not. We're here to take it all, the Alpha and the Omega, everything of it. We're here to take it all. And then to be able not just to endure it, but to live in the joy through it. See what I'm saying? To live in the joy through it. The challenges of life, if we change our perspective, if we can see them as lessons, not something that just come to make me a victim. They're lessons that are going to help us evolve, to move away from the ego mind, the ego consciousness, the ego way of doing things, and be more in oneness with one another as we walk in humility, with mercy and kindness and love with God. Marianne Williamson said that joy is what happens to us when we allow ourselves to recognize how really good things really are. When we can recognize that, joy begins to bubble. And the more you recognize, the more joy that bubbles in. You see, we are the channel of divine love. That's what we are. That's why we're here. We are made of love. We are love. And we are here to witness the many ways that love manifests itself in life and to be able to live in joy. As I said, the joy of the Lord will be our strength. On the night that Jesus was born, there was this amazing light in the sky. An angel of the Lord appeared to the shepherds in the field that were tending the flocks, and he said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all people. For today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you, which is Christ the Lord." That angelic announcement of the birth of the Christ was filled with excitement and joy. And I say to you, as the prophet prophetically said, "Unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given. And he shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Prince of Peace, and the Almighty God." The very love incarnate in us, expressing through us. Yes, unto us, unto all humanity, this child has been given. It is who we are. It is the Christ in us, our hope of glory, the one begotten child of God, expressing over and over uniquely through each and every one of us. It is and will forever be abiding in us as the light of the world. So you are the light. It's most revealing to me that in this year, in the year that Jesus was born, there was lots of violence. There was a lot of chaos and political and social unrest. And it was upon this darkness that a bright light appeared in the sky. It guided the Magi's to the Christ child. The humble place where that child was filled with gladness and with joy. It was in a time of darkness that light came into the world, to a world of chaos, to bring peace. Now let's fast forward to 2020. And it's a time of violence and chaos and political social unrest. We are again in dark times. Tomorrow is the winter solstice, December 21st. During this time of the year, we will experience the shortest day of the year, and the night will be the longest. It will literally be the darkest day of the year. But on the darkest day of this year, Jupiter and Saturn are going to come together. They're going to meet. Oh, I just get chills just thinking about this. And once again, it's going to give us the Christmas star. Once again. How fitting that during this Christmas season, we get this beautiful reminder that even in the darkest of times, light can step in. Light will seep through. The light of the world that is within you. The hope, the love, the peace, the joy of the Christ is born anew in you this day and forever. So we have much to rejoice and be exceedingly glad for. For the power to make things different, to make a change, lies within you and me. The answer is you. The Christ is in you. You alone carry the light of the Christ child. So I say to you, do not be afraid. For unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given. It is the light of the world that is within you. And it will guide you, guide all of us through these dark times. And as we are moving forward moment by moment by moment, we will keep the eyes of our heart open to see the goodness that surrounds us, the love that enfolds us. As we give it freely to one another, we will walk this path together. The path that was filled with gratitude and unconditional love. And together, we will experience unspeakable, undescribable, unbounded joy. So I encourage you to not set your eyes on the things of this world. They will pass. Know that within you is the power to make a difference. And connect to that gratitude and love. Gratitude that will help you see the good. Love that will draw more to you. So be in joy this season. Though we may not be able to be with our family members and have it as we've always had it, there is still joy in the season. For unto us a Christ child is born. So I couldn't help it but to try to leave you with this one video. It's very short. It's called The Christmas Present.
I'm alive! I'm alive! Yeah? Yeah! Hey, Christine! You're here too! I love you!
I know. Dad, what's happening?
Honey, the power works! It's coming, it goes on and off whenever we want! We've got clean water! Oh, that's great, look at that! Ooh, I bet I know what this does! Bring down the glorious water! Shoes. Oh, what do we got here, guys? Food. I love food. A birthday? You gonna have what? This is awesome. Look, listen here. Steve, the what?
Jack, be careful!
Oh, I have a car! This is great. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, you have a car!
A car!
And don't forget your coffee.
You're the best.
I'm so grateful for you and for the many, many ways that we have walked together this 2020 year. Thank you for bringing joy into my life. And I see you continue to do that to everyone. Merry, Merry Christmas. And namaste. So I think we have a song that we can all stand up and sing to. This is from the Unity of Miami.
The Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven, let heaven and nature, heaven and nature sing. Everybody say joy to the world, for the Lord, for the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart
Someday we're going to have a choir just like that.
It's that time now in our service to give of our gifts, our tithes, and our love offerings. We are so grateful to all of you who are with us today. Grateful for your giving, for sending in your checks, for contributing online. Your faithful support makes it possible for us to continue to come to you live and makes it possible to do the work we've been called for. We thank you for your gifts. Now I ask you to please take your gifts in your hands and affirm your offering blessing with me. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I send forth this gift with my blessings and my love. Mother, Father, God, we thank you for this offering. We know it is given in love and received in love, and that it will move through this ministry with the energy of divine love out into the world as good. Each gift is blessed, heaped up, pressed down and overflowing, for that is the law, and so it is. Thank you, God. Amen. We thank you for being with us today. We hope that you have been uplifted and energized and filled with joy, and that you will go through this week feeling God's love in every place that you go. Will you please affirm the prayer of protection with me? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you all. Reverend Lewis would like to say a few words with you.
So this time, I always have an opportunity to give you last-minute announcements and let you know what's happening right after the service. We're going to be doing a memorial service, honoring and acknowledging those that have gone before us. So we will have an opportunity to exit, if you're going home, to exit the sanctuary. Give us about a 5-minute transition time, especially the people that are watching from home. Give us about 5 minutes to transition, and then we will meet again in here. If you are staying, then you can just stay in your seats. You don't have to leave. And then don't forget, Christmas Eve, candlelight outdoor service on the 24th. So the 24th. And just a second, and I want to make sure that you know that if the weather doesn't allow it, we will have it in here. If we are going to have it outdoors, then I'm going to leave it to your discretion to sit with people that you want to sit with or family members, you know. It's your discretion. You decide whether or not you want to do that, and just be cautious, you know. We've been safe all this time, so be real careful. If you feel comfortable wearing a mask outside, do that. If you don't, then just distance yourself enough apart. We'll have some hot cocoa for you and Christmas caroling from 4:30 to 5. And then at 5 o'clock we have our Christmas program, and there'll be some soloists and some dancers, and it should be a joyful time together. So, you know, feel free to invite friends, and just make sure you bring your chair if you can. If you don't have a chair, then we will try to get more from the back garage and have them available to you, okay? We just want to make sure everyone will have a joyful time this Christmas season. So it's on the 24th. And Carol, you wanted to say something real quickly? It's on the 24th from 4:30 to 5, hot cocoa, singing Christmas carols, getting yourself settled, you know, doing all those things. And then at 5 o'clock, the program actually begins, okay? No need to register for that one. Just show up. Okay? If we do have it in the sanctuary, then all the guidelines that we use on a Sunday morning will be in place. Okay? That's the only difference. If we have it outside, then you have more flexibility. So can you visualize with me a beautiful Christmas Eve evening so that we can be outdoors? I love you. I bless you. I see you full of joy. And if you will wait for the ushers to dismiss you from the back of the room, I will transition to get ready for the service, a memorial service. Have a wonderful week. And if you have any music for them, that would be great. If you are staying for the memorial service, then just stay in your seats for a few moments. You may want to just stretch a little bit if you like. This is going to be a challenge. Okay. Yes. Would you close the doors in the back and ask them if any of them coming into the service so we could start? Okay. Thank you for staying. Thank you, those of you that are watching on Facebook and on YouTube. This Sunday service is always so special to me and to each and every one of you. It's a time when we get to not only remember and honor those that we've loved in our lives, whether it's a family member or pet, but also to acknowledge that deep knowing that our life is God's life. And though we may leave the physical, life is eternal. Love lives on. And so we acknowledge that our loved ones have gone beyond into, I always say, past the veil. And they are continuing their journey, wherever they may be. But their love is always, always with us. And so on this day, we are grateful that we had an opportunity to share a life with them, part of their journey, to be part of that. And to remember all the good, all the joy and the laughter and even the hardships that we went through together. So it's be a short service. I will be reading the names that you submitted. Oh, I was just told I still have my mask on. So I keep forgetting. Sorry. Thank you very much. Can you hear me better? Okay. Do I need to repeat anything? No, thank you. So when we were planning the service, I had invited Lydia to share. Lydia is our director of grief counseling here in the church. She leads the grief group, and she does an amazing job, so full of love. So I'm inviting Lydia to come up and share a poem with you. And then what we will do is I will read out all the names that you have submitted. And our prayer chaplains, JT and Gloria, will help adorn our tree with each and every one of them. So would you come up, Lydia? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Without a doubt, I know you can hear me. I'm just going to say a few words before I read this poem. I lost my son 10 years ago, instantly to a brain aneurysm. And I was led throughout 2 years to write this book. And I find it so interesting that what you said leads right into what I've written, which is called Forever Love. Can you hear me? When a life has ended, when your loved one is no longer here, I want you to remember their spirit is always near. They will always love you. They will always care. They will forever protect you, so don't be filled with despair. Through the happy days, the hard days, when your hope is almost gone, listen for them singing the lyrics of their favorite song. See them at the party, dancing in the crowd, and always remember all the fun you had. God is always with us. So are those we love. We just have to listen for the presence when it comes. It's in the smell of summer, the whistling winds of March, the cold and icy mornings when it's hard to get a start. The shadow that you see out of the corner of your eye, and the unexplained joy that fills your heart when you want to cry. God is always with us. So are those we love. Just listen for their presence. Don't be afraid to see. Open up your eyes and feel the love that will forever be. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely true, absolutely beautiful. Thank you. And so we're going to begin. I think this is the year that we have received the most names, believe it or not. And we're using a dove as a symbol of the peace that lives in our heart. Symbol of knowing that they're always with us. This dove is from my Joe and my Danny, who transitioned 25 years ago. He was 10 years old. And lives very much in our heart. This dove is for Joe's mom, Juana Gomez, a beautiful woman that blessed us with her simplicity and her humility. This dove is for Michael Wilmhurst's parents. And I think, so be patient with me. This is, okay. This one is for Michael Wilmhurst's brother. Brother Peter and Nicholas, for his grandparents, Michael's grandparents. This dove is from Marcia for Bob. Marcia McCartney for Bob. This one is from Marcia McCartney for Scotty. Marcia McCartney for Fred. Marcia McCartney for Dorothy. This is from Kitty Van Sinkle, the Giggling Giddily Girls. This is from Kitty also, Marianne Morse. This is from Kitty also, Asunta Argorios. This is from Kitty Larry Van Sickle. And finally from Kitty, Rosamond and Bob Moore. This is from Mary. James McGee. James and McGee Jr. Francesca Gesu Maria. This is from Jay Vogel. Corliss Vogel Brennan. I think there are two and then in here. Okay. From Z, our beloved mom, Hilda Anglero. I think we made two of her here, so let me put this one there. From Tommy Perinsky, we have one more from Z. Jeremiah from Z and from myself. This is our amazing nephew. On behalf of Rosa's son, Jeremiah. This is for Luca Fonseca, our nephew. He transitioned shortly after birth. This is from Tommy Perinsky for John Perinsky. From Mary Ellen Shea, her beautiful husband, Richard Shea. For her son, Jeremy Scott O'Boyle. From Lorna, we have John and Eleanor Eastman. From Lorna, also Alice Holt Taylor. John L. Bull. This is from Lorna as well. And from Lorna, lastly, William Eastman. From Mary Kennedy, we have Betsy Newton. We honor Betsy. And Jim Yankee. From Sharon Slaughter, Bernice Mulberry. Nick Mulberry. Charles Corley Jr. Paulette Corley. Bonnie Russo. From Mary Bandish, Jerry Kite. Barbara Thomas, Sally. From Judy Fox, Jennifer Epler. Mary Scorn. From Tim Fellenser, his father, David. Rick Tamargo. His grandmother, Carice Bartholomew. His grandfather, L.E.J. and Father David Fellenzer. From Elaine, we have Cinder, Elaine Wheeler, Cinder. From Elaine Wheeler, Poochie. From Elaine Margaret Toole Crayley, is that right? Okay. Also from Elaine, Claude W. Crayley. And finally, Florence Crayley. From Pat Tack, we have Bob Tack. And Danny Sellart. From Jane Wallace, we have Kit. We have his uncle, Sam Rowley. I have to get you another clip. I'll get you a clip. We'll get one in the off. We could just put it on for now, just without it. And Jim, his aunt. I'm sorry, and from Jim Wallace, his aunt. Don't have a name. And then there are some of you that have offered to bring some ornaments. Linda, you have some, right? Why don't you come up and put those up?
This is for Pam from Linda Gunn, and I will be putting that on, and then this is for my husband, John Ryan, and our 2 cats. He was a cat person too, just like your Joe. Sylvester and Domino were our 2 white Persian cats. And this one is from me, Virginia Maynard, and my surrogate mother, Jessie Jameson.
So sorry. What are the names? They're not here. Okay, come up and honor them, and we'll create a dove for them. Come up and honor you. Give us your names. Vicki had names that were not on the list, and so she's going to honor them, and we will create the dove for them. It's okay.
my mother and father, Helen and Peter Costa, my brother, Stephen Costa, my grandmother's is Mary Costa and Jenny LaPlaca, and Dean's mother, I forgot her name, Opal Smith, and Ted Baumgartner.
Thank you. You're welcome, sweetie. Vicki, we'll make sure that those doves get put on today. Okay.
Just honoring my Grams and Papa Almeida and my cat Lindsay, who is actually buried with them, and also a friend who died in a motorcycle accident, Teresa Varner. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
For my great-great-granddaughter, Lydia Larimore. She would have been 3.
I will get together with each and every one of you right after service. I make sure I have those names, and you be assured that their names will be added to the tree. Is there anyone else? So before we close, let's take a moment to connect with our heart. I invite you, if it's comfortable for you, to put your hand right over your heart and take a deep breath. And begin to bring into your memory all these loved ones. Let the love that they leave with you, that is always with you, bring you comfort. Letting you know that in this journey, we're here for just a moment in time. That life is eternal and it goes on. That love is strong. And it always, always is with us. Allow yourself to feel the gratitude for sharing life with them, being part of their journey. Wherever their next journey is, we see them happy. We see them healthy, prosperous. We see them filled with love and wisdom. And we thank them for having been in our lives. And take a deep breath and send your love back to each and every one of them. And we send our love to each other in this room. Those of you that are on YouTube and on Facebook, we send love to you. With one another, with the love and the support that we give each other. We go through all the different aspects of life, knowing that love holds us. And in the end, all is well. Thank you for the peace that surpasses all understanding. We're grateful for the love that never leaves us. And we're grateful for the joy that we were able to share with our loved ones. And so we take a deep breath. We let that go. And we come back into this present moment. If you, our prayer chaplains, are willing to stay for a few moments, all you need to do is stay in your seats. Otherwise, I love and bless each and every one of you. And I hope to see you soon. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Love you. Thank you. Doesn't it look beautiful? Vicki.